Oh, the shark, babe, it has teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly whites. Just a jackknife has old Mac Heat, dear, and he keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bites with its teeth, dear, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves though, where's old Mac Heat, dear? But there's still a little trace of red. Now on the sidewalk, ooh, Sunday morning, lies a body just oozing life. Someone sneaking. I'm trying to think of a song for you all. Riding up to the coast of Maine, sun is rising, da 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 da. Okay, here we go. Spring and summer unfolding. You're the one I love holding. It's hardly coincidence when it's meant to be. Oh, we're riding up to the coast of Maine. There's sun breaking through with a little bit of rain. I'm so happy when it's me and you. I got lots of you in my life. I got lots of you in my life. Holding you tight in the middle of the night. Lots of you in my life. That's what we do here on Fridays. We're talking to Shelby Perron in resident services here at Mystic Valley Elder. But what's interesting is you have an office of Mystic Valley Elder in the Housing Authority. Mm-hmm. I'm very impressed with that.
Oh, yeah.
The Housing Authority has a situation going with Mystic Valley Elder, mm-hmm, where people right on site. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love being here and being here for all the residents with, anything that they need, and I really try to just set a positive vibe around here and have activities for everyone to do and just,
Now don't blush, but everyone loves you here.
Oh.
they all talk about you in a
I love
positive
everybody
light.
here.
So in the TV room, you have positive thoughts. Mm-hmm. Where do you find them?
I constantly looking up inspirational quotes and stuff like that. So whether it's online or, certain stores, but I want this to be a place where people could come and feel comfortable and positive and everyone get along and just, good vibes only here.
So there is bingo. Is it 2 or 3 nights a week?
3 nights, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 o'clock.
That's bingo. And then there's Bible study.
Yep, every Tuesday evening at 6 p.m.
Exercises.
Yep, twice a week we have exercise. Zumba and chair fitness. So those are popular.
And then people do their own thing, like there's Yahtzee.
Yeah, we have a group that meets for Yahtzee a few afternoons a week and have snacks and just chat and talk and hang out.
Which is important because some of the tenants like to stay home, but it's good for them to interact with other people, mm-hmm, and have activities.
Mm-hmm. We collab and go off of each other with certain things, but I have kind of made up that certain activities for my site, but we all kind of do like a coffee hour and stuff like that, but I make mine specifically for here, for my site. Yep, a lot of residents wanted to take them home. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I think they fell in love with them as we're holding them.
Yep.
That was cute.
Yeah, so that was awesome. And then we have a big Halloween party coming up and some fun things with the holidays approaching. So.
Wow. Well, Shelby, just want to introduce you to our people.
Hello.
And the theme of the film, of course, is being young at heart. And you do a great job keeping people young at heart.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the first edition of Everett Today. Today is February 21, 2023. I like to timestamp my shows. It's a new program from ECTV. Our goal is to inform viewers of services available, fun things to do in Everett and surrounding communities, and to help with the outreach of public access TV, which is what this is. We're downstairs at Everett City Hall. I'm so honored. We have one of the greatest station managers, Akinil Staples, who is directing today's show. My honored guests, Lisa Jimenez from Mystic Valley Elders, the CEO of Mystic Valley Elder, Lisa Gergon, and City Councilor Darren Koster is not a guest, he's the co-host. Welcome to the show. Lisa Gergon, what's it like being CEO, number one?
It's a lot of fun. Mystic Valley Elder Services was founded in 1975, and we are the aging service access point for Everett and surrounding communities. It's a very busy place, and we are really committed to providing services and supports to older adults and people with disability who would like to remain in their homes.
I'll give you a little secret. When I turned 60, I went over there. I just looked at the pamphlets and stuff. You know, it's kind of like, it's another side of life that I didn't understand. And it's like, oh my God, I'm a rock and roller and I'm a senior. And it's tough. It's tough to transition in your mind because I still feel 19. I'm talking fast like I'm 19. So my question is, can people just come in like I did?
Yes. Yep. We're open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday through Friday. People can walk in. We also have a phone number that's staffed at that time, and someone answers. So you don't go to recording. Our receptionists answer and transfer you to our staff directly. We can have help older adults, but also caregivers. To your point, sometimes it's good to start thinking early, and Lisa will talk a lot about that. We really want people to call us before they need us, so they kind of can prepare for their family and their loved ones as they age. What are the services? How can they get help?
I have a great service. I get my laundry done every week.
Yes.
So I walk in with a check, and there's two women are very nice at the front desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I go, finances, I think. It's but it's kind of fun, and it's a nice warm atmosphere.
It is. It's a wonderful atmosphere. It's the best place to work. I worked there for 18 years. I always say that you're going to have to drag me out of here. I love my job so much. There's not a day that I go to work that I don't feel like I'm doing something that's good for our community, that I'm not helping people, that I'm not supported by our leadership. It's just the best place to work. You can't work at a better place. And there's so many employees who work there for decades. Like we have 35 years, and we have people who've been there from the very beginning. And in fact, we have 13 employees who live in Everett who work at Mystic Valley Elder Services. So it's not only just we're serving Everett, but Everett is also working with us. It's really nice.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's good. So we work with members of your community every day.
What's your title?
So my title is Assistant Nurse Manager. I put the stars on it, but no, it's just Assistant Nurse Manager. So I supervise a group of nurses and social workers. The nurses that I work with go into the community, and they assist elders and their families in getting services to keep them in their home. And then I have a specialized group of social workers. They're called Integrated Care Coordinators. They go out into nursing facilities, and they help discharge patients who've been there and need assistance getting back to the community. So that's a really specialized program. We help them with, all the way from housing applications, starting to find housing, starting to get back on their feet. We help them get the documentation they need in order to get out of the nursing facility. So if they need to go to the DMV, if they need to go get their birth certificate or a deed or whatever to apply for housing, we help them do that. And then we move them into their new situation with transitional assistance funding, and we get them supports they need so that they can kind of mirror the services they've had in the nursing facility, but they live in a less restrictive setting that they want to live in a home. So that's one of the most special programs I think we have. And it really helps people who are kind of stuck and need to get back on their feet. So that's what the work I'm the most proud of.
Last year, that program served 77 people in our area. So they helped 77 people go from nursing home back home.
So
And where did the 77 come from?
So from nursing homes all over the area. Yeah. But in your area, you have Everett Rehab and Nursing Facility. So we would work directly with that nursing home. We work with the social worker, the nursing team, physical therapy. We go in, we meet with patients. We call them consumers. We meet with them and we figure out, okay, what is the next step for you? How can we bridge the transition home? Have you gone through your rehab benefit? And are you now ready and strong enough to go back home? And can we meet your needs in the community? And a lot of time people are in nursing facilities because there's no housing for them. So we're trying to figure out how we can get housing for them, how to get them on a wait list, how to get them on Section 8. We do the CHAMP application, which is the whole state funded, so we can apply in any area in the state that they're looking for, and then we help them get into the community. So it's a wonderful program.
Are there other services like Mystic Valley Elder in communities that you cannot reach?
Yeah, so we're one of 24 aging service access points. So every city and town has an ASAP in Massachusetts, and we're overseen by the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, and also the U.S. Administration on Community Living funds us from the federal government. So we have federal and state money, but every city and town in Massachusetts is covered.
Right. There's no better place to age than Massachusetts, really, because we just have such a comprehensive plan. So you really are, in the best place to be, even though you don't like the weather, right? But I mean, what are you going to do? This is the place to age.
Governors have meetings. Do the 24 facilities all have meetings at a certain point?
Yeah, we meet actually monthly with the Secretary of Elder Affairs and review different policies and procedures. We're very engaged in, Medicaid and Medicare funding and how do we support older adults. A lot of policy work happens both with the governor, but also, again, with the federal government. Prescription Advantage things. We just are really involved, and we meet monthly. Yep.
And then on a smaller level, like we meet as a nursing team to discuss issues with all the people in the state who are having different issues in different areas, to problem solve, to work together to figure out how we can best meet the needs of our elders in Massachusetts.
Hello, and welcome to our documentary film, Seniors Being Young at Heart. And today we're talking to Isaac from, what's the company called?
Action for Boston Community Development, ABCD.
Oh, ABCD. And so what you do is, you were down at the community center with Dale earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
So you got in there at 10 o'clock. What was that like?
So normally I come into the senior center around 10 in the morning, and I like speaking with everyone there. Greet everyone, see how everyone's doing. But then usually at around 10 in the morning, when I arrive, I help set up the table. We have a specific dedicated table at the senior center that has stands that say tech support. And I help set that up, and we get started. People come by, people ask questions, people might bring their devices. Some things are really quick, some things might take a lot of time and attention. But it's amazing. I love speaking with everyone and getting to know everybody and helping them out.
What our audience needs to know is that this is a free technology information for seniors at the Everett Housing Authority. So, like today, I brought you my Android, and you guys helped me with the Android, which I still, I'm going back to iPhone. It's driving me crazy. What do you do when seniors come up to you with different devices? Did you get any laptops today?
So I don't think, maybe once throughout the many locations that me and Olympio visit, maybe one person has asked a question about a computer, but really it's about like smartphones and smart watches, things like that, things that people hold. But because they tend to vary a lot of people have different devices that are from different years with different models and different languages. It's less that the person helping is the expert and more of them trying to investigate what the problem is and then trying to work towards a solution. I like to think of it as less of a expert at a store and more of a detective or in an investigation, trying to figure out what's going wrong, how can they help, and what can be done to achieve the solution. So I would say it's like that.
So let's take a watch, a smartphone watch. What would like a problem with it be?
So normally, at least in the instances that I've helped people with smart watches, sometimes it can be as basic as it's the first time that they've used it and they may not know exactly how to turn it on or how to charge it or how it even works. A lot of people say that sometimes it's a gift that was given to them, and now they're coming to me and other people at the Senior Center or Olympio that they just want help to how to get started with it because it was a gift and maybe they just don't know where to start. Sometimes it can be more particular, such as how to change the time on it or how to make this particular thing look this way or how to change things around. It can be more specific or more basic. Again, it's just more of how it happens in the day and then just working to find a solution there.
Well, me personally, if I get something, a new technology, they give you really tiny print.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people here are older than me, a lot older than me sometimes, and they don't have computers. So they have the tiny print, but they can't get on the YouTube to ask a YouTube question, and usually there's an answer there.
Right.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I would say that because, let's see, I like to think about, in classes that I've done and people that I've talked with, I found that approaching it from this mindset might help a bit. When you encounter something that's completely new, and you can apply this to many other things in life, but when you encounter something new, you become really risk averse. Because you don't know what things are going to entail and what they'll mean, you really want to keep in control as much as you can. So anything that might look new or that might deviate from what you normally know, you might want to stick with that instead of venturing out with learning and knowing new things. But what I like to talk about is when it comes to navigating new technologies, it's almost like learning a new language or going on a hike, because it's wrong. For example, if I was a park ranger and you were looking to go on a hike in a trail, it would be wrong of me to say, hey, be careful, there's danger lurking around every corner, and if you be careful and if that's all I said to you, of course you're going to be very, oh, okay, I don't know if I even want to go on this hike. And I find that it's pretty similar with technology. If I say something, it might make people kind of risk averse, especially in populations that might be a bit more discriminated against, like our older populations. So I found that maybe changing the mindset of how we approach problems or tackle things that we might be scared about definitely helps a lot to find that solution and make sure everybody feels okay.
And a lot of older folk here, I'm looking for another term instead of senior, elder, older folk, but I haven't stumbled on it yet. But a lot of people here, the tenants, they like a story. So when you can maybe explain an Android phone to them in a story setting, some of the people in their 80s and 90s might have a more, oh, wow, now I understand.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And especially because technology is advancing so quickly and with so many new features are constantly being added on top of themselves that you need a very nuanced understanding. It's not going to get to everyone, and not everyone is going to understand it to its fullest capacity. And when you have people who might end up going to their stores or asking employees for questions specific to that, who may not have the time to sit down and explain things in detail, like you mentioned in a story setting, it might accidentally, through nobody's fault, might accidentally lead to resentment and people starting to intake feelings of risk averse and, well, maybe it's not worth the trouble to go through all this if it's going to give me these kinds of results, right? So I think you're definitely right. And I think the more we work towards helping and being understanding and being knowledgeable of how we feel about things and not being afraid to be critical about how we feel about technology, especially with technology, I think that the work that can be done will be able to better provide and better serve the people that we try to help.
So you go to 3 different venues, if you will, areas here. Over the past few weeks, what kind of problems have you seen?
I would say that one big problem is definitely one's ability to feel confident in the things that they use. Sometimes people ask questions about their phone or their computer or any other technology. It's always, at least to me, it seems, what is this new thing? Can I do this? Can I do that? And when it comes to solving those problems and finding answers to those questions, it helps to change the mindset a bit. Instead of me being the keeper of answers and I'm giving them to you, working together to find the solution definitely helps a lot. Now, I would also say that, especially nowadays in the year 2024, because technology is increasingly becoming more and more a part of our daily lives and influencing how we carry ourselves in the day, we end up putting a bit of ourselves into the technology we use. And when that happens, it becomes more meaningful in that sense. So with that being said, sometimes the things that people are anxious about or fearful about have subtle or deeper ideas that are really at the heart of the matter. So if someone is anxious about being able to access something on the phone, say maybe it's like a health app or getting information about their taxes or insurance, really what's at the heart of it actually is their feeling of being afraid of missing out on these things and might accidentally cause harm to themselves, right? That's what's at the heart of it. Now, the issue isn't that while on the surface, it might be that they want to figure this particular health thing out, but more deeper levels, it might be those sorts of feelings of anxiety that are under it. So I found also that sometimes in these sessions, it ends up taking a therapeutic sense, I guess, where we talk about technology, but we also talk about how we feel about it, what it means to us, what things make us really anxious or afraid about it, what things we love about it. And talking about it in that context helps a lot our situations as well when we're trying to figure out solutions.
Now, I found that some people in their 80s and 90s here just go to the flip phone. They want the old technology. They don't want smartphone. They resist it. Do you find that you can educate people to, well, it's not that scary, and that they might need a smartphone?
Yeah, I don't think that you can. I don't think the right answer is to feel one way or another. I think both can coexist, because say if one person feels nurtured or looks after a certain kind of technology that's maybe a bit older from the technology that exists today, if it works for them and they can do everything that they need to do, then that's perfect, right? I don't think that anybody should force anybody to adopt something that they may not use. Now, it does get a bit complicated, especially again in today's day and age, when say your banking information might start moving online now. Maybe they start forfeiting or losing the opportunities to meet in person that one person might acknowledge. So in that case, maybe it is beneficial to adopt new technologies, and in order to do so, working in that mindset of working together and not feeling like you might be not know what you're doing. It being in a state of learning and being with someone who will nurture you and facilitate the learning for you. So I think both can coexist. With that being said, I think the most important part about that topic is that if we are moving towards a society that is going to depend on technology, we need to make sure that the technology we use looks after us, and it's not just a tool that we rely on, but rather something that we can use and coexist with and make meaning of it without feeling like it's something cold in our hands.
Steve Kruger was the executive director here, and we got a new flyer again. We get so many of these. We're gonna inspect your ceiling on Thursday. I'm serious. They've already sent 3 of these out, and it's like, wow. What I'd like to see them do is send out a flyer that says technology, 2 o'clock, Tuesdays, exercise, 1 o'clock. The stuff on the calendar that Shelby puts out, housing should be sending to all us, because people should be here with there are a lot of people that need help with their phones right now, and they don't know
Yeah,
about this program.
absolutely. And added on to that as well, say that you maybe you did have some experience using, a computer, maybe a desktop, but maybe you haven't had the chance to really use technology that is available in the present, right? If you see the entire world around you using something that you yourself maybe don't feel as comfortable using, the world can suddenly feel a lot more cold and isolating. And when it comes to that, I've found that some people do feel that way, that they feel like they've been cast away, and that they don't feel as valuable, that their input really means something. So many of those people may end up being at home by themselves or isolated from society. So it's not just enough to say that we're here. Making the effort and saying, hello, I'm here and I will help you, and we will do anything possible to make sure that your concerns are addressed, is also going to help people who are invisible. We don't see them because they aren't out and about. They're inside and they're isolated. So for sure, I think that's a really good way to try and target as many people as possible.
Well, Isaac, is there anything else? I think we've covered a lot of material here.
For sure. If there was one more thing that I could add,
You can add many things, whatever you want.
Great. I would say that, yes, especially today, technology was everywhere, in the store, with your loved ones using it, at your bank, at your doctor. It's available everywhere. And the truth of the matter is that these institutions want to become more digitally reliant. But that doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice our humanity and our ability to socialize and be with one another. So I would say that when it comes to tech support, the best thing that can happen is for you to stand up and let people like me and let people who are helping you know, hey, the way that this is working, this could be done better. And this is how I think it could be done better. And you can talk about your own experiences, how you think things could be better. Because by letting us know how you would like things to be, we can put together the data, put together how people's statements, put together how people are feeling, go to people who are making these technologies and make sure that for as long as we live and continue to make technologies, they serve us. And that I like to use the term cold and warm. It isn't something that's cold and foreign and something that I have to learn to live with. I want it to be something warm that I know will be there for me, and that I know that I will be there for it when I need it, right? And if there's something that I need from it, it will be able to give it to me, and it's warm and it's a part of who I am. That's how I think we should look at this solution. And I hope that in the future, and I hope we can get to that point in the future.
What was very impressive was barn babies.
Oh, that was a hit. Yep. Hope to do that again soon, but the residents loved it. So I'm so glad we were able to do that, and it was probably one of the most popular events that we've ever had here. So it was awesome to see everyone come out and enjoy some time with the barn babies, the barn animals. Yep, a lot of residents wanted to take them home. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I think they fell in love with them as we're holding them.
Yep.
That was cute.
This is Sharon. Hi, Sharon. What is this you have?
Millie.
And what is Millie? A kitty?
Who said she's Yes, Millie is a kitty. She's either Persian or Himalayan. That's what we usually have at the barn.
Oh, she's beautiful.
I want to thank all the volunteers who volunteered to cook the meal and serve the meal. I know the ISD guys were cooking and serving. We're all different employees, so thank you for doing that. And just want to wish you all a very nice, happy summer. Couple things. Sunday night we have the postponed 4th of July festivities down at Glendale Park. So hopefully you can come make it. The fireworks will go off at 9 p.m. And tonight is a public meeting at City Hall regarding the Everett Square redesign. We're going to try to redesign Everett Square, clean it up a little bit. So hopefully you'll come up and express your if you're for it or against it, hopefully you're for it. Because I think Everett Square needs a little rehab. And I want to thank Representative McGonigal who got us $2.5 million for that project. So I want to thank him for his partnership. And anyway, so enjoy your summer. I'll be around to say hello and thank you, Bill, and the council agent for always being a great group of people and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for being here. Hey guys, I'm gonna make an announcement. So I have a gentleman in the room.
Be careful.
Vinny Licata, please stand up. Vinny Licata. Vinny Licata just became an American citizen yesterday. Please stand up. Thank you. All right. So we're gonna do a couple of.
Hello, this is Darren Costa. One of my favorite places. You call it the rec room. I call it the community center, the Whittier Community Center. This is Darren Costa here at the Whittier Community Center. We're talking to Paul Norman. Mr. Norman is a member of ECTV, as am I. He directs visual radio, which I've participated in but never directed. He has his own show called Music Alive North Shore, and is on the board of WCAT, which is the cable access television over in Wakefield. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing fantastic, Darren. How are you?
I cannot complain. So, from what I understand, you do so much in the nightclub world, videotaping. It's a really competitive industry, I'm sure. So how do you do it?
Well, it's a labor of love. I realized a number of years ago that you can't have enough fun things in your life. And I made it my mantra to make sure that I could say I do one fun thing a month. And what that did for me was change my life from a focus of that was dominated by work to an opportunity for me to plan fun things, to have great memories. And so now that I'm semi-retired, I've realized that now I can do more than one fun thing a month. And these hobbies that I have are what I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more of. So you can see that they're mainly music focused. And it was actually during the pandemic that I realized how important music was in my life. If I'm playing music, if I'm going to hear music, if I'm making a TV show about music, then I'm getting joy. And that's what I'm living for.
You perform guitar, vocals, harmonica, so you're multi-talented. What other than being semi-retired, what gives you that other than looking for the happiness, right? Because we can all be looking for happiness, but it's 8 o'clock at night and we all get tired. I get tired. So,
right.
What drives you to get into the clubs and tape and play?
Well, it really is my main hobby, and I've got the time for it. And I'm one who, at this stage of my life, as I'm semi-retired, I'm not going to waste the 30 hours a week that I used to be working. Now I'm only working 10 hours a week. I'm going to make sure that during those 30 hours a week, that's my time to be active. So I'm going to learn new things. I want to learn Spanish. I'm going to focus on my health, staying healthy, getting more exercise, all the things that I can do to extend this period of my life where I'm looking to have as much fun as possible, which includes traveling.
So you saw U2 in Las Vegas. How have you seen U2 before, or was this your first time?
Actually, I saw them back in Sullivan Stadium in the 80s. So I was really surprised and interested to learn about the new venue out in Las Vegas, the Sphere. This Sphere is, they set the record for the largest investment in a performance center, whether it's a football stadium, $2.9 billion.
How many people does it hold?
It holds about 18,000 people. They're all on one side of the Sphere.
Wow.
And you're all looking at the performers and huge dome that is got much better resolution than 4K.
Wow.
And it's the state-of-the-art performance center. U2 was the initial act that opened up on September 29th. They did their first show. And I said, you know what? I've been talking about going to Vegas. I hadn't been there in 40 years.
Wow.
I'm going to go out and see the show. It was expensive, but it's the kind of thing that, that's what I've saved my money for, to be able to do fun things like that. So I like to make memories that are ones that I'll be able to look back on throughout the rest of my life and say, I'm glad that I took the time to do something special like that.
Oh, that's amazing, and it's funny because as I look at your background and what you've done more recently, you went to the highest tech place to watch a concert to what I would consider the lowest tech. So tell us about going to watch, and it's such an attraction, but going to watch the Rolling Stones at Fenway Park, the iconic Fenway Park.
Well, actually, the iconic Fenway Park was not quite good enough for Mick and his boys. They performed at Gillette.
Oh, Gillette, okay.
And it was an amazing performance to see Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, both of whom are going to turn 81, on the stage like they were back in the 60s. Their encore was I Can't Get No Satisfaction, probably their first hit back in the 60s. And their second encore was a song called Sweet, Sweet Heaven. And that is their single off their new album. So it was interesting to see, what they did when they were 80 and what they did when they were back, in their 30s, back bookend. But that was a, again, it's all music themes. So I really enjoy seeing iconic acts. Like I saw Rolling Stones one other time as well. But this might have been the last time I saw them. And it was interesting, in May, I also saw Buddy Guy, who was doing his Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy is 87 years old. Buddy Guy plays on the stage like he did back when he was a young man. And to see at the beginning of May, Buddy Guy do what might be his final show at 87, and I can't imagine that the Rolling Stones have too many more tours left in them at 80 years old. But that's a great example of people who live a life that's different than the number that's on their driver's license.
And always performed, energetic, so that investment, again, in that passion, right? Because I don't think it's not like just going to the gym, people force themselves to work out. It's got to be a passion when you put in that much into your music and how much they move. It's not an idle show, it is an active show even at 80, and I'm sure it's not the same as 30, but it's probably pretty close.
It was pretty close. Mick Jagger was dancing on that stage for 2 hours. There was only probably about a 15-minute break where he had Keith Richards do a couple of the songs that he does the solos and probably wrote those songs. But other than that, Mick Jagger was going from one end of the stage to the other. It had a long walkway out into the center of the audience. So he was all over that stage and moving like he wasn't a day over 35.
It's like a marathon. They're running a marathon in a day, right?
Exactly.
Each performance is a marathon. So that's cool. And 70 is the new 30, right?
Absolutely.
I'm hitting my mid-40s, so what's the mid-40s? It feels like 60 when you have 2 small kids, but
Well,
am I going the wrong way?
You have a chance to reverse that trend. You are being challenged by all the things of raising kids, raising a family. You have to have a much higher percentage of your time focused on things that aren't about you. And once you get to the empty nester phase, which is probably something that you can't probably even dream of,
I may not make it.
you'll get there. That's when you shift the tables, and that's when you start to reinvest in yourself, just like you did before you got married and before you had kids. So Joe and I were lucky to be part of the media group that had a tour of the Encore Casino in Everett the Friday before it opened on Sunday. We were the only local access station. So we were walking around in small groups of 10 or 12 people with Channel 4 reporters and saw the entire thing, and it was a nice opportunity to educate the community on this new, what was and probably still is, the biggest investment that was made in Massachusetts. I think it was $4 billion with the cleanup of the Monsanto plant, the building of the casino.
And that was over $2 billion. Just the
$2
casino
billion?
itself. The casino itself, just the
Oh,
building.
the building
not
itself.
the remediation of the
Yeah,
land.
yes.
Not everything else around the land. Because they also have improved across the street. They've done
Exactly.
parking lots. They've done quite a bit to the infrastructure. There's more to go, but they've done quite a bit.
So that was an opportunity for us to do a local access show that highlighted not only what's there now, but how Everett brought that to the community with the local government and some of the benefits that the municipality has received by being the home of Encore Casino.
Yeah, no, it has been in that area, it's just beginning to expand because there's, acres of land there that are yet to be developed. Some of it's well understood what's coming, other is kind of still within the grips of different political bodies trying to find the best use case.
Sure.
And it seems to be the soccer stadium is ahead. So you might be watching U2 or Mick Jagger dancing in a more innovative stadium a lot closer to Boston, but I don't think it's going to meet the expectation of the Sphere in Vegas, so don't expect that.
Probably not, but I did hear an interesting thing I read over the weekend that Rick Grossbeck, who's now selling the Celtics, who would be a great owner for that, and would be Steve Wynn, who could then build, instead of the soccer stadium there, a new a new arena for the Celtics on that piece of land. So who knows? But good things are going to be happening, and it's going to make the community members have access to many more things than they do now, so they can get out and participate and enjoy themselves.
Are you going to see the Olympics?
I'm looking forward to my first visit to London and to Paris in August, the first 2 weeks of August. The first week of August will be the second week of the Olympics. So I'm going to be attending 3 events when I go there, including beach volleyball at the Eiffel Tower. So it's, again, goes along with my theme of make memories that are ones that you look back on and say, yep, I've been to an Olympics, I've been to a Super Bowl, I've been fortunate that I've had the ability to do those kinds of things, but I make it a point to be on the lookout for things that will be lifetime memories. Having clubs, if you want to call it that, or weekly events like the music hour on Fridays here at the community center is a great example of a way for people to get together, put it on, it makes their week, they come in, they have fun. What are other things that could be done like that? Maybe it's a Yahtzee club, maybe it's a bridge club, maybe it's a gardening club. The meetups that they have now, maybe there's a way that a combination of groups that would foster multi-generational activities, so that the seniors come in and their experience is valued. The youth and the vibrance of the younger people start to rub off on them. And you have common interests. It's the movie club that might be a nice way for starting these opportunities for people to get to know new people and get energized by people that may be a few years younger than that.
We're here at Whittier Community Center. We've talked about a lot of music, and I do want to make sure to give something a little bit more coverage. You mentioned having 2 shows. So one uses your experience called Music Live North Shore over at WCAT. So how long has the show been on? You mentioned you're a host of the show. How long has the show been on, and what has your favorite guest been so far?
Well, the show has been on the first filming was done in May of 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. We could only have 10 people in the venue. The first band that I filmed was Frankie Boy and the Blues Express. Frank Minera is the lead guitarist, and because they were the first group that I filmed, and because they have a great blues style, high energy, they've recently released their first album. They win, they're a multi-year winner of the New Hampshire Best Blues Band in New Hampshire. They go down to Memphis each year to compete in the International Blues Competition. But what I've really enjoyed is these young bands that are just happy to have an opportunity for them to be showcased and to go ahead and be in a situation where they can get their music out to people that may not be aware of them. So they have been my favorite band thus far, but every band, as I start to see them release their CDs, it feels to me like they're, my kids growing up. And so I like to see the evolution and the success of these bands, and do my best on Facebook and other medium to promote their shows and be an advocate.
So other than going to the Olympics, what is your next on the list of doing for the first time?
That's a great question. I think it's going to be. I am looking forward to doing for the first time being a grandfather for the first time in September.
Congratulations!
So I come back from the Olympics in August. In September, I'm going to be a grandfather for the first time. So I can't wait. It's going to be.
Have you changed diapers? Not all dads.
I was active. I was active.
You were ahead of your time.
I was ahead of my time. Yes.
Good.
But so that's really the big event for me. That
and will you change diapers as a grandfather?
I'll be happy to any
You
day,
will?
any
Okay.
night.
My parents don't. They'll hand off.
Yeah.
They do a lot. I'm not complaining, but they will hand off.
You can see how beautiful the gardens are here
Manicured.
in this photo. The flowers are going to be changed seasonally, so there'll always be a new display to enjoy. And there are beautiful sculptures that are here in our next picture that are showcased around the property. And this is one thing that I think the guests will find interesting. The Wynn casinos are known for the high-end art that they include at their destinations. So here's one example of some interesting sculpture that's along the waterfront. So after you have a chance to get off the boat, enjoy the gardens, it's time to enter the casino.
Isn't that a theme, the 3 heads? There's some kind of theme behind that. Angelic, or I forget what the
it's-
theme is. There is a theme there.
I don't know if it's hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil, but maybe it's something like that.
We're going to talk about Popeye?
We are going to talk about Popeye,
All right.
but first, we entered the casino and were greeted by this wonderful Alice in Wonderland-like environment. And here you see the merry-go-round that is the first thing that you see when you enter the resort complex. This has 80,000 flowers that adorn the merry-go-round. And believe it or not, this display is going to be seasonal.
Though they're alive, right? The flowers on the merry-go-round are alive.
Well, we had somewhat of a interesting answer from our tour guide, Danielle. There certainly are a number of them that are alive. What was also interesting is that they plan to be changing that display periodically. In fact, she mentioned when she first came to Boston and they were getting ready to open, they had a Ferris wheel in that spot. So immediately you enter the land of enchantment. And everybody knows, whether you're young and old, you're here to have a good time, and we're here to give you a good time.
You call it Alice in Wonderland, I call it the Land of Oz. But it's still magical imagination and an array on the senses.
Absolutely.
And not only visually, but taste, when they gave us some of the foods or the drinks. Everything is about the senses and exciting the senses.
Right. Now, in the next picture, you're going to see an example of some of the exquisite art that is on display. This is not inside the casino. This is part of the resort complex, and this is an area where there are some high-end retail stores, only about 6 or 7. One focused on men's fashion, women's fashion, a separate store, a Swiss watch store. So exactly where you want to go when you strike it rich to bring home that nice gift for your significant other.
Which could be a hotel room itself, which,
It could be.
I don't want to go ahead of you,
Okay.
but the hotel rooms,
Well, before we go to the hotel rooms,
All
which
right,
are
thank you.
exquisite, you mentioned the Popeye statue, and this is something that was brought to Encore Boston Harbor from the Las Vegas Wynn Casino. It's a Jeffrey Coons statue that Steve Wynn in 2014 paid $28 million for, and it's worth every penny. In fact, it's appreciated in value, and it's on display for everyone to enjoy, again, before you even enter the gaming area. So,
art is so subjective. I can't see spending $28 million on Popeye.
oh, come on, Joe.
It was beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's still, I mean, if you put it on, what was that game show? Not What's My Line, but you guess the price.
The Price is Right?
The Price is Right.
Yeah.
No way in a million years I'd get the price on that.
Well, as long, you don't win if you go over. So you would definitely be under, probably under by multi-millions. In your guess, I'm sure.
I guess it'd been like about $400,000 or $500,000.
Okay.
I mean-
Well, it's a very whimsical piece of art, and it just gives you a feel for the environment. Everything is designed to put a smile on your face.
And it evokes your youth
Yes.
in a subtle way. Where everyone's an adult in there. It's a gambling casino, but they're touching on the heartstrings of the youth, and everything, Sinatra's, everything evokes some kind of memory from way back when. And the future of the Mystic River.
Sure.
I ramble on.
So you mentioned the hotel. Why don't we take a minute and show our viewers some of the luxury accommodations. There are 670 luxury rooms, including 21 suites, all of which have iPads to control everything from the lights, the temperature, the window shades, to what music you're going to listen to.
And we couldn't say the word Alexa.
No. If
We were
said-
not allowed to say Alexa.
No, it would have definitely started the electronic communication process and would have screw things up for the guests that were going to be arriving that weekend. But these rooms, as you can see, have a beautiful view of the city of Boston. It's going to be wonderful to see the city lit at night.
Well, you see the Zakim Bridge, that's front and center.
And it's the only luxury resort that has a view of Boston, because all the other ones are in Boston. So here, this spot, you see the harbor, you see the city, and these rooms are priced comparably to the Four Seasons and the Mandarin Hotel in Boston. In other words, the most expensive hotels in the city. And they all have water views. Half of them, as we said, are viewing the city of Boston, and the other half are viewing the Mystic River.
These are for the high rollers. Now, the room I was in, and they were colliding tours, so that was the fun thing. You were in our tour, and then I slipped over to the other tour in the hotel room because I wanted to see the billiards table. But it's funny, there were simultaneous tours going on at the same time. I'd say there were about 200 people there on the Friday.
Yeah, there were only
Critics
200 press members that were with us. And what you're referring to was the elegant and spacious chairman's suite. 3 bedrooms, 2 levels, the billiard room, spacious living room, and I don't think I'll be spending a night there, but there will be some high rollers that will be enjoying that beautiful accommodation.
Now, visual radio, we've been around, since 95, so I don't usually gush about things, and I'm just so impressed because Everett has changed. Everett has massively changed by this. This is like turning on a light switch. So if we sound like we're, this is just an amazing place. And like I said, Mike's Donuts was my haunt. So like your haunt is suddenly, the chemical plant's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to think when they said they were going to clean up the Mystic River. I had fun on the boat. So we wanted to do the special visual radio on something very special in Boston. And it could have went the other way. People were like, oh God, the traffic. What are we gonna, I mean, that's the big thing. What are we going to do about the traffic? So far, so good. Because where I live, I thought there would be a spillover. And there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they had 50,000 people on that Sunday, and they had those fireworks in the daytime,
Right.
which were amazing too. But this is something that has changed our area. This is something that has changed our space. It's worthy of discussion, and Paul and I had fun. So that's the only way to put it. This isn't an infomercial by any means. This is 2 critics eyeing it, and it could have went the other way. Like, what did they do? They should have put it elsewhere. Maine, Revere, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of fits where it is. We're talking to Sam Amato, who just had an exercise class here at the Whittier Community Center. Hey, Sam.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Good. What's this about? What the exercise program?
Earlier in the year, my gym, I run a fitness studio on Main Street called Way Better You. We applied for a grant through the city, through the casino, that community grant that they do, and the gym applied to provide services or fitness classes as a service to seniors at senior living facilities. And so we were awarded the grant, and we've been going to various fitness center or senior centers running these fitness classes. And so I bring all the equipment, and I put the participants through a group fitness class that consists of some aerobic, but mostly strength training exercises that are going to help people feel better, feel stronger, and hopefully during the class, the students are picking up on some exercises that they can use at home on their own. Anyone and everyone can participate in these classes. We've been here all summer on Tuesday mornings at 11, and we have a fun group, and I love being out here, and I believe that strength training is one of the keys to longevity, and it's never too late to get started with strength training and exercise. The body is going to react, and so you could just sit around and wither away waiting for what? or you can pick up some dumbbells and you can pick up, put on a pair of tennis shoes, or you can pick up a bottle of water, you can pick up a gallon of milk and do some exercises at home. And if you don't know how to do those exercises, you could be in here taking class with me, learning some of those exercises, and hopefully you can apply it to your own life. Even if it's not fun, you do your taxes not because they're fun. You go to the grocery store not necessarily because it's fun. You brush your teeth not because it's fun. You do those things because you have to do those things, right? So if you can make exercise part of your routine or as part of your habit, it doesn't have to be a lot. You'll start to feel the difference almost immediately, and it's a good feeling, and you might find yourself wanting to do more and more and more. So it's not a bad habit to add to your daily routine or regimen.
It was a good crowd here today of a mix of people I don't usually see all together, which was good.
Yeah. I think fitness classes are a fun way for people to build community without feeling forced to talk to one another. You just build up a camaraderie, and you see the same people working out all the time, and you start looking forward to seeing them because you know that they're going to be there and they're expecting you to be there, and you're there to support one another. So exercise is definitely a great way to build community.
So we moved into this space in June 2020, and we had an opening August 2021, and then we closed pretty quickly because of COVID again. So we really, that following spring, got going and we took art to the parks. We set up different projects and kids would just come over, sometimes adults. We had some adult-friendly projects too. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I see that you have an original Andy Warhol.
We fell in love with this. I don't really necessarily want to advertise Coca-Cola.
Right.
It's totally vintage, which is actually how we picked the colors for our branding.
Oh, nice.
Around the same time period that this might have been painted.
What is this?
This is Evelyn Gayhart's little library, and her mom Eleanor was just here because someone smashed the window. It's really sad. We got up yesterday. We cleaned up some of the broken, it was plastic, not glass. Unfortunately, we cleaned up some of it, but she has to find, we're gonna put plastic so the books don't get wet. And then these are, this is what some people call them kindness rock gardens, but I call them art rocks.
Oh, wow.
It's like a double entendre. So, so this is, there's Evelyn's logo actually. So that's Evelyn's Free Library.
Cool.
Network. So she's popped these up all over Everett.
Really?
Yeah, and then we oftentimes bring art rocks to different celebrations. And also the kids for choice time sometimes will choose to do rocks. So if this is running low, we'll do it one afternoon and bring a whole pile up. So it's starting to run low. And then we've always had the art rocks in the window anyway.
So for people to know, it's right off of Locust Street.
Come on in.
Wow.
So this is my sculpture.
Wow.
I have work in a few places right now. Upstate New York. I was in a show at the Hudson Valley MoCA. And I just got a couple of pieces into the Cambridge Art Association exhibition called Aurora. So the lights in the sculptures? Yeah, so basically those two greenish, purplish ones, they're called Gertrude Talking at Dorothy. And they're made from pole lamps because I always use materials that have been thrown away. That's the guts of the sculptures. Yeah, so this, one of them was on the cover of, I did go back to grad school at age 65. Yeah.
Beeswax.
Beeswax.
That's fascinating.
Beeswax mixed with Damar resin and pigment. So that started as several different paintings, and then I decided it was more like a story. And so each sort of figure kind of shape tells some kind of a story. And I feel like using materials that have been thrown away, that they've been touched by my hand, that I've used, or that they tell me something about the time period that I lived in, there's some history there. So the story is hopefully means something to other people. These two chair figures and this chair figure, and there's another one around the corner, they were made for an installation in SOA called The Dinner Party. And it was a time when I invited other people to come into the gallery and do work with me. That's mine from, oh my God, I don't know how long ago. Like, my kids are in their 30s, and that was from well before I knew my husband. The kind of art programming that I bring and that I encourage at Art Lab is more open and creative. And whoever's coming to the program would have to be young at heart and willing to take chances. Yeah. This is model magic and also self-drying clay. We do not have a kiln here. Oh, this is the youth employees and a volunteer youth that were here during the summer created these, and this is one of the most exciting projects I've done. And so the kids wanted to make their sculptures from mannequins, but each sculpture expresses what the kid is dealing with, what the teen is dealing with or cares about or is passionate about. This is not how it would ultimately be set up, but this young man feels overwhelmed right now. So he feels overwhelmed, and he is starting to take classes at Bunker Hill, and he's an amazing teacher, so I hope he continues. But he was taking all these books that had some meaning to him.
Every inch of Art Lab seems to be utilized in a good way.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little crowded, but one of my youth employees is an amazing organizer. So her job is like organizing, inventory, and then supporting the teaching and supporting the social media or the graphic design stuff.
Wow.
So she organized these shelves like you wouldn't believe, and she keeps them up to date.
A field trip is definitely in order. Well, thank you, Martha.
Sure.
Amazing.
You should go up the stairs so you can see the kids' artwork. This is more of Natasia's work. And then on the wall over here, we always have a schedule posted, and we let the kids know what the project is going to be for the day. So one day we did foam stickers of animals, because one of the kids is really interested in all different animals. And then this is called the Exquisite Corpse Project. We only had a couple kids that day. And so it's a thing that the surrealists invented, where different people work on the same piece of artwork.
Nice.
Might move a little slower, but it's far from over. Here we are, all getting older. Lend me your shoulder so I don't fall over. My hair is turning gray, anyone can see. Random aches and pains and a dodgy knee. Huh? What's that? I couldn't hear you say. But I don't sit around and waste a day. My friends and I, we all enjoy a swim. And you'll find us pumping iron at the gym. Yeah, 10-pound curl, a game of cards and a joke we've heard before. but we still laugh till our bellies are sore. Oh, 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 we're getting older, might move a little slower, but it's far from